Good morning and welcome to Sips of Sanity. We're on day 5 in July and we're talking about people pleasing.
Oh, Kelly, I'm so excited about this whole week.
And especially this show.
Absolutely.
We are talking today about knowing your rights. So if you're just tuning in right now, I would highly recommend going back and listening to episodes 1 through 4 so that this one can actually sit well with you and it can actually resonate with you. Because if you're still in the looped belief of people pleasing being the only way of living, if you still wrap your identity up in being a people pleaser or can't even identify that you are one to begin with, then today won't make any sense.
And I think knowing your rights really means that when you know your own rights, you get a toolkit for why you don't want to do it anymore. And it's one of the things that I think the people around us who like the people pleaser in us, and be rest assured that there will be people who are going to like it that you're a people pleaser.
Yeah, they're benefiting from it in some way.
Yeah, they don't want you to know your rights because if you don't know them, then they get to continue using your ability to keep giving and giving and giving.
Oh, we have presidents who do that.
Absolutely. Yes, we have bosses that do it. We have spouses and kids that will do it. And I really want people to hear that. We have raised generations of children who want people-pleasing parents because it means we feed the beast, meaning their beast. I want to go to hockey. I want. And so the people-pleasing parent gets tied into, I'm a good parent if I'm constantly giving my children what they want.
Saying yes.
Yes, even to the point of going in and fighting a school and fighting and bullying teachers and so on. Right?
So,
yeah.
What are our rights then?
Number one, I think is so important is the right to be respected. And some people might think, well, son of a gun. And you should be saying that. You should be sitting there saying, well, son of a gun. Because it's one of the things that you don't demand from anybody. You don't have a bar. You let people disrespect you. And then you cry and whine, or you don't. And you just shove it in deeper and further into your organs and off you go into the world.
Yeah, we think we have to do more in order to earn that respect. And we're saying that fundamentally, people deserve respect as human beings.
I love that. Because if we now believe that I don't deserve to be respected, then the people that want to abuse you and control you have full access to abusing you.
Yeah, and that goes back to yesterday's show about how we self-sabotage as people pleasers. And one thing we didn't talk about is perfectionism. And I wish we had spent more time talking about that, but we can probably do that on a Coffee with the Sarlos episode. We people please to an extent that we're so stuck that we don't think we deserve respect. So we're going to perfect everything that we do in hopes that someone will acknowledge our efforts.
Right.
And then we'll be respected.
So we want acknowledgement of our efforts instead of self-respect and respect. We barter. Isn't that cool?
And yet, one of the biggest things that complicates all of this is the fact that we don't understand our other rights are to be seen and to be heard. We believe as people pleasers, we don't have those rights. And so how can we be respected if we're neither seen nor heard?
Yeah. And then really, how do you have the right to your anger? Truly, if it's based in that pool and that mess that you're not willing to clean up, but you want other people to come in and show you respect. Okay. So to be treated with respect, but that means you have to figure out how to self-respect. And then set that bar. Remember you used to have that wooden bar? Do better?
Yeah.
Maybe people can think about that. You did that in the sense of do better, meaning
Raise your bar.
Raise your bar. Know what the bar is for other people and let them be there. And if they're not, and I really believe this, if they're not, then let them find somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
Have enough self-esteem, enough self-confidence to know that on a planet of 7 billion, somebody else can come along.
And show you kindness and show you respect, patience.
Right. Another one, Kelly, is to know your own emotions, know your own feelings. And people pleasers often don't know what they feel, even when they're asked.
And this is interesting because you're bringing this up as a right. And I think it's both a right and a responsibility.
Yes. You could say that.
Well, I
That's good.
want to word it that way because it's not just that you have a right to an opinion, which means you know what you think, or a right to your emotions, which means you can run them rampant. It means that you have a responsibility to know what they are and to understand them so that you can deal with them appropriately and healthily.
And also express them healthily. Is that what you just said? Did I repeat you?
Yes.
Well, there
at
you
least
go.
once an episode. That's
Well,
okay.
it was about time, I guess. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe somebody needed to hear that one twice.
There's Karen and Kelly.
This leads into know your own boundaries. And we're saying the same thing in different ways. When you know your own feelings, it leads to knowing what your boundaries are.
Yes.
But some people don't know what a boundary is. So now if we say, but go back and know what you feel about something, and then comes your boundaries, that's going to make sense. They have to go together. Okay, another one is to know what you want, to be able to ask for it.
Yes.
So first of all...
You combined two there.
I did
Let's
on
slow
purpose.
that down.
Okay, step 1 and step 2.
Knowing what you want.
Thing 1 and thing 2.
Having an opinion. Knowing your own thoughts. That's 1.
Yeah.
Knowing how to ask for them or knowing that you have a right to articulate those things is different. They have to go together, yes, but they are separate.
And they take courage.
And they're the thing that we try and teach children when they're learning language.
Yes.
When they're mumbling at us or they're cooing at us, we want to say, okay, use your words. We want them to develop that skill so that we can know how to meet their needs in a healthy way.
And I really like, Kelly, when somebody will say, and I will say, you do this for me, when you will say to me, use your words, Mom. Because it's said with such kindness. It's not use your words, Mom.
No, there's an expectation because of my consistency in behavior that if I'm saying use your words, I am going to listen. You will be heard. I'm going to give you that right of being heard.
Isn't that interesting? I'm going to give you that right. So you're hearing two aspects of this then, that the person I'm engaging with is aware enough to know that I deserve that and that I have to know it too. So it means two people have to know it.
And it also goes back to something that we spoke briefly about is your right to safety.
Right.
You have a right to feel safe, that if you know you can speak and have the right to be heard, that it's going to fall on patient, silent ears, then you are actually safe in this relationship and in this conversation.
And I find it's one of the things that comes through in a lot of the treatments, Kelly, when people ask, where's my relationship going? And I say, well, there is no foundation. And they'll look at me and go, oh, what does that mean? We have a house and we have jobs. We have 2 kids. And I say, no, you have no foundation. One of you is a people pleaser. And it's like, what? People pleasers don't understand in those sessions that they're contributing to the fact that there's no foundation and they're never going to get one as long as they continue to do it.
Yes.
Because it lacks integrity. Because their partner and their family members don't ever really know them. They know the version of them that they are presenting through the people pleasing, but they don't truly know the person. And there's nothing I find more heartbreaking as a medium than to channel for somebody, a person who's crossed over and said, yeah, this is my wife. These are my 3 kids. They didn't really know me. And I've seen so often as well, where one person will come in and say, yeah, I had an affair. And I'll say, yeah, I know your spirit is saying that you had an affair because you people pleased your spouse so much that you never felt connected. And so you went out and you had the affair
to feel,
and to truly feel something with somebody. And they will sit and look at me and go, well, holy shit.
And interestingly enough, too, in that situation, the feeling is usually shame.
Yes.
And that is another way we self-sabotage.
Right. So talk about being confounded because you're so disconnected from your spouse because you are people pleasing your spouse. So now you meet another person and you're not going to do your people pleasing. You're going to go ahead and be yourself with that person and you fall in love and they fall in love with the authentic, real you and you feel shame. That is confounding to people. That's where they feel messed up.
Well, and I think too, if we're talking about confounding things, is that when we're channeling, especially people who've passed over, where they say, well, did my husband really love me? Or did my wife really love me? Well, I mean, he said it, yeah, but he people pleased you. And so, like you're saying, you never really knew each other. This wasn't really love.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a hard thing for a lot of people to wrap their head around but I need to know that I'm loved. And that is a right that we have as well, to be loved. But it certainly isn't expressed authentically. And then we're very confused when we're told no.
And imagine hearing from a medium after your spouse has passed that they people pleased you and that meant they didn't love you.
Yeah, what do you do with that? I think that's when people leave and think, now what?
Yeah. Oh, what a great session. Just found out my husband doesn't love me. Well, I hope it is the beginning of another great session with a medium.
To evaluate everything that we've been talking about this week.
Exactly. And to understand your part in it and their part in it. Okay. You have a right to making mistakes.
Nice.
This is a big one. You have a right to make your own mistakes, not be shamed about those mistakes, be able to apologize, or to be able to feel what you want to feel about your mistake. I know for sure when I make mistakes, I laugh a shit ton. I enjoy making mistakes because to me, it's just teaching myself something about me.
But that means you're in a safe relationship, whether it's with yourself or another person, where humility can exist as well.
Oh, yeah. Humility is a great bedfellow, as that expression goes, but it's totally true.
I like that you date yourself with your expressions. I find that part fun in the podcast too.
Okay. All right. That's good. And it leads into that if you are comfortable making mistakes, you're comfortable growing in them, you're comfortable saying them and sharing them with other people, you're happy. Here is your true peace. And you have a right to being happy. You have a right to peacefulness. You have a right to being able to share an opinion without being people-pleasing, criticized, put down, devalued, unheard, ignored, somebody withholding from you. And here we go with Patricia Evans' 15 forms of abuse. Right?
Yeah. I want to point out that you have the right to change because, and I think that's what you're saying too, right? You have the right to change. If you are in that place of wanting to learn, of wanting to grow, of being humble, being able to laugh at yourself, then you can change those patterns. You can end those cycles. And whether you change and grow out of the relationship or outgrow the relationship, that can be a great thing. That can be the most necessary thing that goes right back to your right for survival.
I think it's a lot of things that people that want to be spiritual or want to be religious people want to talk about or want to be. They want to grow. And then they think, well, I want to grow. I'm being spiritual. I'm a religious person. I'm going to grow. And then as soon as we start pointing out, well, you know, you might have to stop your people pleasing to grow. They hit their brakes.
Yeah.
And it's like, can't do that. Because what's going to happen as a result from it? And I often say to them, what could happen?
I think that's a great place to end the show.
Yeah.
Because you're asking about an open-ended question of someone's future.
Yes. And if you are in a relationship where it truly is safe and it truly is love, then your answer is easy to know at the end of this show. And you are super excited.
And energized.
But if you are in a relationship where it is not healthy, then you're now sitting there going, you're uncomfortable.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, that is your moment. And that is what a spiritual awakening is. It is a oh fuck moment. And that's the beginning. That is, and if you haven't had the oh fuck moment, then you haven't done your spiritual awakening. You're just walking or you're just talking the talk.
Cool.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for this week.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. And thank you, Ed Regan. This has been such a wonderful experience. Yeah. We are so excited to have this
I hope everybody loves it.
The audience, yeah. If you have questions or comments about today's show, you can email us at info@bysarlo.com. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend and stay tuned to our show Coffee with the Sarlos, new episode out tomorrow morning on the website or on iTunes.